Hey guys, this is Daniel at Pwn CNC and I'm sitting on top of the Dominator CNC machine. It's available for pre-order and we're going to talk all about it during this video. We're going to talk about the features, the accessories, everything it comes with, all of the things you need to know before you place your order. Let's dig into it, shall we? I'm now sitting in front of the Dominator CNC machine. This guy is a beast. I designed this specifically for us guys who are either looking to retire or already retired, wanting to relax, enjoy a hobby with a machine that has some serious power and rigidity to it. So this machine, it's got a workbench size, 31 or so inches high from the using our legs kit. This way you can easily roll around on a stool here, access the entire thing, have full access to the entire machine, even when the gantry is all the way back. The entire machine is accessible to you. You can be pulling off parts over here, setting them down, getting them out of the way, lifting up large pieces of stock, sliding it into position, getting it set, holding it down, all kinds of things. These are all features that I wanted to have, simple things. Other features is you'd be surprised to know that it is ambidextrous. I've got the cable chain, it goes from the left, and then goes over to the right, and then I've got the Y cable chain running down the Y side. That can be swapped. So you can have it running over to the right and then over to the left, down to the cable chain, which is mounted on the side, going down and through the left side of the machine. The reason I did that is I know everybody's garage is different. I just built it this way. I like my controller on the right side, so I've kind of put the controller over here. So the best place to run the cables are kind of like right there on the right side. I've also got things like the tool setter. So I've got this mounted over here on the left, or on my right, our right. And then of course over here on the left, I've got a second emergency stop. That's an additional feature of the emergency stop, but that can also be mounted either on this side or the other side. And it can be mounted together with the tool setter, which can also be mounted over here. So again, it's ambidextrous. You can move the machine and customize it based on your particular garage, how you need your machine to work. We're going to adapt to your needs. The nice thing also is this has got a, it comes with a mount down here at the bottom, and a simple VESA mount can be added to hold on to the controller. You can also use one of those wall-mounted VESA mounts. VESA is the name of it. It's 100 millimeters by 100 millimeters. So there's tons and tons of options as far as how you mount the monitor, the control screen, in order to access it and control it. Even whether it's on the right side, left side, above the machine, whatever you want, it's available. Makes it super easy for you to access and do. Now, other features, it's got an optional MPG. This is the standard MPG that we seem to have a hard time keeping in stock. This thing is so popular. But if you count them, there's technically 3 e-stops on this machine right now. We've got one over here on the right on the controller itself. We've got one on the MPG pendant. And then of course we've got one over here. I've got an additional one over here on the left side of the machine, so that we can have complete safety. So no matter if you're monitoring it over here, keeping track of your carve, you can hit the button if you need to, pause the machine, and get back to it later. Now, other features. With the machine itself, it's offered as the machine, the base machine, which includes the gantry, the basic bed with the 3 rails, horizontal rails left to right. This is easy to mount onto. So for example, I've got just a slab of MDF sitting here. It's mounted right across those 3 rails and supported on either side. It basically turns it into a sort of torsion box, which is great for having a level bed. If you add some of our upgrades onto it, and I'll show you the underside here in a few minutes. Actually, I might be able to show you over here on the screen. I'll grab it with my cell phone, show you over here. Now, over underneath, if you add the additional upgrades, it adds even more extrusions, cross and horizontal extrusions, which add a lot more structure and rigidity to it, which is why I was able to put a dial indicator on here and actually show you the deflection of the bed. The bed itself has got minimal deflection, even in the middle. Now on this particular prototype, I do not have the 5th leg that will actually be mounted right in the middle of the bed, help support that bed even more, all the way down to the base level or to your floor. Even without that, each upgrade that you can add to this machine improves the rigidity, improves the structure and the form of the machine. So it allows you the best experience with every upgrade you add. You can do none of the upgrades, add upgrades over time. So eventually you get to the very best machine possible, all with a nice upgradable machine here. Included for all pre-order customers right now, I'm going to include the gantry upgrade. That's those 2 vertical extrusions. What that does is adds additional support. Now you'll notice that I've still got the acrylic gantry plates on either side. That's this little vertical plate that holds the gantry above the bed. In this case, I've been able to run many carves. I think I'm on my 4th or 5th carve now, and it is holding up perfectly. The entire machine, even with the prototype 3D printed Y plates, a couple spacers, and the acrylic, and even our Z carriage is 3D printed. And regardless, our machine is perfectly trammed. I'm surprised myself. I've ran multiple carves. Here's one of the carves. It is perfectly smooth. I've surfaced the entire thing, as well as used the Beast clearing bit here in the middle, and I can't feel any ridges or anything as far as the surfaceability. So that is an indication, it's a great indication that this thing, the machine, is trammed perfectly. Now that is out of the box. All I did was basically make sure all my joints and all my connections and anchors, as far as the extrusions go, are all super tight. I made sure that all of my bolts and nuts are all tight and secure. If tramming is needed, there are multiple ways to tram this machine, both in the vertical for the Z-axis, as well as the horizontal and that sort of thing. There's ways you can tram this machine pretty easily. And if you need to, we can go into those details later. All pre-order customers will get not only those gantry that free gantry upgrade, it will also include the our XYZ block with the magnet. This will let you identify the corner of your stock and the Z height of your stock. We're also including a tool setter, so you can make sure you got the correct Z offset whenever you change bits. 3 things, I think it's like a $300 or $400 value. I forget, I think it's 340 or something. But that is a way of saying thank you for being patient with us and allowing us the time to ramp up and get into full production so that we can ship machines as fast as possible. We've decided to take the approach of we're partnering with multiple American companies. I'm happy to say we're working very closely with Derek over at Millwright. He is a great company. He has great machines over there. He fully supports and realizes that, hey, there is enough room in this market for everybody, and if you have an innovative idea, come out with it. Let's see if it becomes popular, see if you can get some following. But again, we're not here to crowd everybody out. We're here to share and enjoy and have fun in this hobby. Some of you are professionals, some of you are semi-professionals, and of course most of you are probably hobby as far as the information we have with our support guys. We are here to have fun, we're here to enjoy. Hopefully, I'm hoping to release a video every single week doing a simple carve on the machine. If you have questions or comments or want to see certain carves happen, let me know. I've got a couple really unique carves that I want to do. I've prepared a whole bunch of stock here, and I'm going to run this machine as hard as I can to see if I can break some of these prototype parts. And then of course, once we get our aluminum parts on there, so it's a fully production machine, we'll see how hard we can truly push it. I'm expecting anywhere from 600 to 700 inches per minute in order to run this thing through, considering all of the rigidity upgrades that we've done to it, this thing should be super rigid, super strong, capable of anything. Now, I did talk about in the previous video that this is a conversion kit. On this particular machine, on this particular prototype, I have got 3 nanometer stepper motors, although I still have a 2 nanometer stepper motor on my Z, but the X and both Ys are 3 nanometers. That way we can really push it, especially for that one experiment I want to do where I want to push it as hard as I can go. The other exception I do need to mention about this machine is when I first started designing, I actually ordered ball screws that were slightly shorter than they needed to be. So you'll notice that there's some extra material over here on the left side of the machine. That is basically because the ball screw stops short of the plate, and that's the same with the Y. So as I'm doing my carves, I'm actually going to be using more in the middle of the bed. One, to show the deflection or lack thereof, but also since it's more in the middle of the ball screws as it's mounted here in the front. These are all small little caveats. Again, this is a prototype machine. This is the first one we've got running. If you want to see it in person, I totally invite you to come to Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas, up here in the northwest corner. We're just south of Missouri and just east of Oklahoma, right here in the corner. And I encourage you to come over, visit, bring a carve. Let's do a carve together. Let's record it. I want you on camera, having fun. If you don't like something, let me know. I will certainly be improving the machine over time and providing those as minor upgrades compared to the major ones that I've already prepared. This is a machine that I want us to grow with, to be the best machine possible. My goal with the Dominator was, what would I want my second machine to look like? What is better than an entry-level machine? If I spent $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on a machine, and I got a starter machine, it gets me started into the hobby, I enjoy it, and I want to know, okay, how do I push it? How do I get better at CNC machining with my machine, with woodworking, with that sort of thing? This is the answer. We've designed this specifically for the answer as your second machine. So if you follow some of the advice out there, they tell you to buy your second machine first. Feel free. We are here to help. We've got a great customer support team. We're highly valued and recommended because of our support. So I want you to come and enjoy, have fun, come visit us. I'll give you a tour. We can run a carve. You can actually use the machine personally, enjoy it, and yeah, let's get some close-up shots of some of the various pieces and components of this machine, and then I'll show you a carve that I just recently ran so that you can see the machine in action and actually see and prove and allow me to prove that it can do some of the various things that I've claimed it can do. Let's get a little closer into the features of this machine. This is one of our 3 nanometer steppers, and I've got the stepper covers that allow for the convenient running of our cables to keep them nice and clean. Over here is my left side gantry plate. Because this is acrylic, I have had to run the screws a little long in order to run lock nuts on there, but on the production part, it will be threaded right into the aluminum panel. You'll notice probably a little blowout here. This is from transporting the machine across in the back of a trailer. Here, I accidentally carved into it when I first started running my HDM. I had the wrong tool in the ATC and it went to change it and jabbed right into it because I didn't reset the Z. But you'll notice there's several spots over here for running the cable chain off this side, as well as some holes for running wires straight through the gantry in order to access either side of the gantry. As you can see here, I've got our ball screw going into our 3 nanometer stepper, again with the custom wire tracing or wire channeling covers. We've got the gantry holes here for running cables all the way through the gantry if you need to. I've got the proximity switch. Those are embedded in not only the both Ys, but also the X plates. That way it keeps that out of the way, keeps those proximity switches nice and convenient and easy to access, and gives us the maximum amount of coverage for our machine. I've got the cable chain mounted on top of our gantry here. A couple positions over here running right into the T-track, into some T-nuts there. I've also partially down, I've drilled a hole through the cable chain in order to mount the middle of the cable chain, since it never actually, this part of the cable chain never actually coils up. It usually comes about halfway, and then somewhere around here it stops needing to be pulled up. So we've actually mounted that down so that it gives a nice secure, and this thing won't fall off the back of your gantry. Over here on the right, you'll notice we've got our cable chain. It runs down and along a tray that sticks out from the legs that comes with the legs kit. Cable chain is long enough. It's 1.7 meters long if you need to know. And then of course there's probably a foot or so between the cable chains whenever you run it down the gantry here. We also have an LED strip that we've added to it so that you can have full visibility of what's going on. I'm a computer programmer and I like to keep my lights pretty dim, unlike here in the warehouse. But this allows me, especially if I'm at home, to see everything in my workspace. Okay, there is a truly awesome feature that I would love to show you. Let me move forward here. Our production ball screws will allow this thing to overhang the front of the machine by up to 2 inches, allowing our spindle motor here to actually drop down and grab tools. And then you'll notice that we can go all the way down. Let's see if I can go down further. Yep. So I would actually drop this thing down probably right about there, and that will allow it even to drop down even further. Most of my bits are pretty low, so this one's one of my shorter bits that are in there, but it allows it to go all the way down to the bed and beyond. Because we have a fully functional ATC, an industrial ATC, there are lots of cables and tubes, like our coolant tubes here, our air tubes, our pneumatic tubes, the motor sensor cable, the actual motor power cable, all of that I've got bundled up right here, and it goes right into our 18 by 50 cable chains, along with the proximity sensors, the Z motor cable. I would like to point out a couple of features here, especially with our Z carriage. Not only does it have more than an 8-inch vertical travel in order to move this spindle to various locations on the bed, as well as the huge Z clearance of our machine. We also have, in this case, we've got our dual spindle mounts. It typically comes with one. You can add on a second one if you want to. Our Z plate also supports square spindles and that sort of thing. So we are keeping in mind forward functionality, forward features that we could add in the future. Both plates, I know this one doesn't have one. This is a prototype spindle mount right here. But our production spindle mounts all have a 1-inch by 1-inch mount that we can mount accessories. In this case, I've got a GoPro on there. We can also mount here on the side. Both sides have got M5 threaded holes in order to mount additional accessories. In this case, I've got the SST's Stupid Simple Tools lube cube here, and it's mounted on, but I've got their M8 screw for their arm, for their mounting arm, screwed right into a 3D printed accessory with an M8 heat insert into it, mounted right onto the side of our mount there. That way I can get this into the perfect position for whatever carve I happen to be running. And of course our 18 by 50 cable chains are perfectly fine for running this dual tube for the coolant and the air right through the cable chain if you needed to, so be sure to order extra of that stuff. But we've also got other accessories that can be mounted, including the JTEC laser and other lasers on the market. They can easily be added right onto the machine. We can run some additional cables through the cable chain in order to mount it and plug it right into our CNC machine. I've got our ultimate hose clamp here at the top, mounted with a band clamp. I've also got a prototype dust boot here that should be released by the end of the month. This is a very simple dust boot. It's a simple spindle mounted dust boot, super simple. It's got a 2.5-inch mag lock connection up here at the top, right, and of course mounted right there. And unlike many of the other machines on the market, this guy, as I said, just like the feature of the flat bed, both the left and the right side of the machine do not interfere with any sort of boot or or whatnot that you may have on there, so you can side mount your dust boots regardless of which boot you have, in order to have a lot of clearance to come overhang the right side or overhang the left side of your machine, depending on how you want to arrange your dust boot and run your carbs. See, underneath our machine is very diverse. We've got various front to back. This is one of our upgrades, as well as our left to right upgrade. Basically turns the entire bottom of the bed into a torsion box. On the back side of the gantry, you'll notice that there is a lot of T-track back there. One idea that if somebody wants to work on it is a closed loop coolant system. I've got a chiller down here on the floor. However, I would love to just throw it right up there on the gantry, get it out of the way, run some power through my Y cable chain maybe, and attach it right there and connect it up. Maybe some DC power going through the cable chain up to a DC powered pump up here in the front with a small reservoir, maybe something smaller than this guy here, and allow that to run up into the X chain in order to cool the spindle. Up until now, I've basically talked about the machine, but let's actually see it in action. Let's jump into a carve. So hopefully you found that walkthrough pretty helpful, incisive and detailed enough. If you've got any questions or comments, leave them down below. We are here to help. The machine is available for pre-order now. We are shipping 120 to 150 days from your order, so that it gives us time to build up and perfect our processes and that sort of thing. By the time we start shipping, I'm hoping to ship a heck of a lot faster than that. That is the plan. So be sure to like, subscribe, do all that sort of thing. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you like the machine, let us know. Let's get back to making something. Dominate 2025.